Good morning. I've always been a great fan of John Wooden. What an amazing man. He was the basketball coach at UCLA, winning so many national championships, more than any other coach in history. He was amazing. He was also a man who had some real strict rules about what he expected from his players. And one of those things he expected was no facial hair. Now, this was back in the 60s and 70s, and as you can remember, people were into wearing long hair, certainly growing beards. But John Wooden felt that that was not the way he wanted to create a spirit for his team, of what was expected of them. Well, one of the players on his team was Bill Walton. I got to hear Bill Walton speak in person one day. Small crowd. I had the chance to visit with him. He really was a neat guy. But Bill Walton will describe himself as kind of a rogue troublemaker early on in his life as he was trying to figure out who he was. Well, who he was the star center for the UCLA Bruins. I mean, he was good. Well, after there'd been like a 2-week break, he came back to the court wearing a full beard. And when John Wooden saw him before practice started, he said, "Bill, did you forget something?" Then Bill said, "You mean you're talking about my beard?" "Yes, we have a rule about that." "Well, I grew my beard while I was off, and I really like it, and I decided I'm going to keep it." "So, Bill, you really feel that strongly about it?" "Yes, I do," he said. "I mean, I am living in America. It's a free country. It is my right." "And you feel that strongly about it?" asked Coach Wooden. "Yes, I do." And Wooden said, "Bill, I want you to know I respect people who know what they believe and they stand strongly for it. And you're right, you are free, and it is your right. And I just want you to know that as a team, we're going to miss you." 5 minutes till practice starts. Bill Walton stood there and realized he'd just been dismissed from the team. That the coach had said goodbye to his star center. He also had severe rules that you had to be at practice on time. Another one of those that Coach Wooden said, "You're all free to use your time. However, I expect you to be here when it's supposed to be, or there are severe consequences." This is only 5 minutes. Bill Walton ran to the dressing room. He managed to shave that beard, and he was back on court literally as John Wooden was blowing the whistle for practice to start. I love the fact that, sometimes you and I celebrate the fact that we're free and we can do whatever we want. But freedom has consequences. And sometimes when we use our freedom, we use it poorly, and it really has bad consequences for our lives. That's why Paul would say to the Galatians, "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourself be burdened again by a yoke of slavery." You see, Jesus came and there were so many things that he seemed to throw away to set people free. You don't have to live by 600 different laws that had been established by the Pharisees, the Sanhedrin, that were so heavy on all the Jewish people. The dietary food laws, those laws about the Sabbath, so many laws seem to be setting people free from. And Paul said, "For Christ has set you free, but don't use your freedom to fall back into slavery." Don't use your freedom for a sense of selfishness and self-centeredness and greed. You've been set free. A lot of those things you don't have to do anymore. But how are you using your freedom? You see, you and I have been set free so that we can choose how we're going to live our lives. And that's a wonderful thing. That's why John Wesley, I love our calendars. I hope you're still using yours, the flip calendar every day of love your neighbor, no exception. I was looking at it for today, and it's a quote from John Wesley. "Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, and all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, for as long as ever you can." That's something you're free to choose to do. And you and I can choose to live in a way where we really do love our neighbor, no exceptions. This week, Wendy Lambert and I are going to be talking about freedom. Because this coming Sunday, 4th of July, is our Independence Day. As we're going to remember the people down through the centuries who have fought and sacrificed so much so that you and I can live in freedom. A lot of people seem to have forgotten how to use their freedom in our country. But you and I, as the disciples of Christ, we are reminded how we're going to choose to use our freedom. Because in freedom, you find so much more joy and meaning in life. I'm looking forward all week long to celebrating the gift of freedom. Have a great week.